is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Get that mic player. Got to unmute the microphone there, right? Welcome in, guys. CZ Studios cranked up for you here at the Patriot Mobile Ranch and Command Center. In front of that Patriot Mobile microphone. It's all being brought to you by the great National Rifle Association. Wonderful folks, guys. You got to join them. NRA.org/AAR and get in the pool with us, man. We need your help. You'll understand more again today after we have this continuing, ongoing conversation every single day. We are live for you on Facebook right now, facebook.com/ArmedAmericanRadio. If you want to watch or listen, take your pick. Open up Facebook and you're good to go there. And that's facebook.com/ArmedAmericanRadio. Twitter at AAR Mark, or X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAR Mark. And I hope that you also would like us and follow us over there at Twitter and help us take our social media back. Thousands of you have done that. We do appreciate that very much. You can also watch and listen to the show on youtube.com/ArmedAmericanRadio and rumble.com/ArmedAmericanRadio or at armedamericanradio.com. There's a button for either one. If you're driving, please don't try to watch the show. Please just listen to us, okay? Be safe out there. And you can get in on the chat by downloading the Telegram messaging app if you're so desiring to do so. Hundreds have done that, and just search for Armed American Radio Conversations. Let's go to our first guest today, the great Dave Workman, my mom's favorite guest for many, many, many years. In fact, Dave, welcome in. My mom said to me just a couple weeks ago, I haven't heard Dave Workman on your show in a while. Is he coming on again soon? I said, yes. And here you are.
Well, you can let your mom know that the flowers should be on the way.
Mom, this one's for you, okay? If you're tuned in today, if you're not catching us on podcasts, all right? This one's for my mom. How you doing, brother?
Your mom's a sweetie.
Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm, as you know, I've been kind of slowing my way down towards some semblance of retirement, and I'm kind of getting ready for it. It's hunting season, for crying out loud. I should be out there chasing deer and elk and all those things instead of sitting here banging on a keyboard all day long.
I'm going to go there. You brought it up, so I'm going to go there with you. I actually expected to hear that today, that you couldn't because you were hunting, because that's happened to us many, many times over the years at this time of year. And, our good friend Tom Gresham at Gun Talk, he's out there. He's got a lot going on. If I'm not mistaken, he just took him a big elk a few weeks ago or a couple days ago.
Yeah, you know what? Tom's a dear friend of mine, but if he keeps this up, I could learn to hate him real fast.
Yeah, he nailed a big one. It was a moose. I mean, he had a moose tag. And
yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, he did well. So good for him. Congratulations, Tom Gresham at Gun Talk, man. We love you. By the way, you can listen to Tom every single Sunday, 1 o'clock to 4, 2 o'clock to 5, depending on what time zone you're in on Gun Talk, our good friend over there, Tom Gresham. So, Dave, it's fun for me to have you on because I don't do a lot of prep when I have you on because I really am not sure what direction we're going to go. And it's impossible for me to try to lead you because you and I just have such natural conversations. And that's the way to go. But you kind of took my strategy there a little astray with your latest piece over at today at Ammo Land. Gun rights groups urge SCOTUS to grant cert in second marijuana case. Let's dig into this because I covered the Hamani case. This guy's a bad guy. He's worse than Rahimi. And this guy's a known terrorist who, honestly, you know, if the government gets their way in this trial or in this case at SCOTUS, which they likely will, millions of Americans who are otherwise law-abiding citizens, save for that marijuana issue, are going to find themselves in a world of hurt. So we kind of need this case, don't we? Because this centers just on the ganja itself, right?
Yeah, I think I have mixed emotions about marijuana. Anybody who knows my background probably knows that, but I believe that this question needs to be answered, 100%. And the timing is right. I think it's very important to get a definitive ruling from the high court on just what the parameters are of the Second Amendment and whether the government can enforce a law which does not really seem to have a historical content or context. Back when the country was founded, if somebody got in trouble, they'd do jail time maybe, but as soon as they got out of jail, they'd get their guns back.
Right.
And, where have we gone from there to get here? So this is going to be an interesting case. The court did accept the case back on October 10th, I think, involving this other guy,
Hamani. Yeah, bad guy.
Yeah, Hamani, and now the gun rights groups, Second Amendment Foundation, California Rifle and Pistol, and a handful of other guys. They want to add this second case out of the I think it was the Third Circuit to have the court hear both of these cases together, give them a little more meat to digest, and then come down with what we presume is going to be a definitive ruling on whether or not the government can actually enforce a law, and it's been on the books for decades, whether they can enforce a law that may or may not infringe on the Second Amendment. And, I'm not somebody who can sit here and say, yeah, that's unconstitutional. Yeah, that's constitutional. No, we can't do that, but yeah, we can do this. That's way above my pay grade. And I'm going to be sitting back here along with everybody else, just waiting to see how the court comes down on that.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. The Hamani case, I kind of glanced over the Hamani case at first, and my original assessment was, me thinks that there's going to be a lot of happy medical marijuana or recreational marijuana users out there until I did a deeper dive after I spent a lot of time talking with Jared Yanis over at Guns and Gadgets, and then had him on the program. And he took a real deep dive into that, and boy, he opened my eyes. And I corrected myself on air because while I was aware Hamani was a bad guy, I didn't realize the depth of his bad guyness. I mean, this guy's he's an Iranian Guard, Hamas sympathizing bona fide terrorist that said he would let an attack go in the United States if he was aware of it. He was at Soleimani's funeral. His mom said she wanted him and his brother to be martyrs, like Soleimani. And and that's a case that's hinging on weed too. So how do we square both these cases at the same time if that were to happen?
Well, one scenario that actually just popped into my mind would be that the court would come down and say, you know what, we're going to say that people can use medical marijuana. Law-abiding citizens can use medical marijuana. And we're also going to say that in the states which have approved recreational marijuana use, people can do that. But these two guys are bad guys, and they don't have any rights, or, we're going to lock them up, or we're going to uphold their convictions, or, whatever. And that's not outside the realm of possibility.
No, and where you're going here, if I hear you correctly, and I like this, is why, guys, this is not something that we dove into earlier. We're literally forming our opinions live on the air here as we talk through this, and it will be interesting to see how those discussions begin to fold out over the coming days and weeks when these cases, or at least one is heard, Dave. But if I'm hearing you correctly here, and I think I am, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to do that simply because these men, or let's just stay Hamani, let's stay on Hamani right now because I know more about that one for the time being, but this guy poses a danger to people. So that could possibly preclude with and exclude the millions of other Americans who might get caught up in this just because of the drug. Now, Roberts, on the other hand, at the court, is really loath to make decisions where he believes, and we've heard this in the past, I forget the name of the case, where there were a couple, where he believes that Congress should be handling these things, that this should be handled by the legislative branch. It might not be a place for the court to go. Now, they've already accepted the case, okay? So whether he felt that way and there was somebody else, that made the four, we will never know that. But we'll continue this conversation, Dave, when we come back. We're getting ready to take our first break, but it is a fascinating one, and your article is real eye-popping. So you've provided me not only more content, but more work to do and more research on this, because the Second Amendment Foundation is involved in the briefs on this as well. So, guys, there's a lot going on here at the courts, and we're going to try to cover with Dave just as absolutely as much as we can, because we've got him for one more segment, and then Danielle Buck from Patriot Mobil will be here. There's about 4 or 5 topics to try to get in with her, but you know how it goes. Time flies by. Buckle in. We'll do the best we can for you. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense continues from the CZ studios here, brought to you by the National Rifle Association at the Patriot Mobile Command Center right after the break. Don't go away. Guys, we'll be back to you in about 2.5 minutes. What the hell happened there?
All right, we got about 45 seconds.
Roger that. Mike Schrupp, get these cameras up here in a second. I'll get that tuned down by the end of the day.
What was that?
I'll get that tuned down by the end of the day.
Oh, I bet. Not today, tomorrow.
Yeah, keeping that Les Paul and the weather conditions changing constantly in tune is tough to do, and they're tuned down a half step, so keeping it in tune is kind of tough.
following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, you should do that, ladies and gentlemen. PatriotMobile.com. If you're watching on your devices, I'm holding up a PatriotMobile.com activated phone right here. You, too, can do the same thing. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. Move a phone over, 2 phones, 3 phones, 4 phones, all of them, your businesses, whatever you want to do. Use that promo code. You're going to get a free month, and they will cover up to $500 of the cost of your phone if you need to pay it off in order to make that shift like I did. You can do the same thing. It's really, really simple. It takes about 20 minutes maximum. They handle everything, and it's all American-based staff right down in Texas. You got to love that. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. Take advantage of those great deals. Dave Workman, welcome back, my friend, to the CZ studios. So let's wrap up with the weed thing real quick, because millions of Americans are caught up in this. Congress, I don't think Trump, when I start to look at this overall, I don't think the administration is interested in, although there's been some crowing about it in the administration of possibly removing marijuana from the Schedule I, which would change the Form 4473, et cetera. We all know how that works. Yeah. Do you think that that's a possibility here? The Congress may act on that?
Are you talking about the same Congress that can't even get the government running again? I mean, we talking about the same bunch of people?
Yeah, that's a great point. And that's Democrats, too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. All they've got to do is sign the continuing resolution, and it's a done deal, and they refuse to do that. But that's another show.
Yeah. Now, remember, liberal Democrats, they love the idea of people being able to smoke pot, but they're not too keen on them owning guns. So... you're getting into a realm where I'm not sure you and I really want to go as rational adults.
Well, you bring up you raise a great point. I mean, you do not hear the gun grabbers, liberals et al., screaming about legalizing marijuana. Why? Because they want to keep as many people off the rolls as possible. Now, the Biden administration you can see why they would want to, because that's just another 10 million people they can go after, however many people smoke weed. I'm not one of them, so I don't have to worry about that. But I still care about people's rights. I've got a lot of friends with medical marijuana cards. Some are recreational users, some that I'm probably not even sure of. I'd probably be shocked to find out they were. But nonetheless, if they, if they're buying a gun and they answer that question, they're committing federal perjury if they say no and don't even know.
Yeah,
so it's bad.
And this question has been asked of me several times, and I keep telling people that until they change the federal law, if you fill out that 4473 and you fib about your marijuana use, you've just committed a felony.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do to help you.
No, and again, another great point, because you don't have to like it. That's my advice as well. I don't have to agree with it. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's just what you have to deal with. So there is politics involved in this all the way on down the line. And let's face facts. The states that have, quote unquote, legalized it are legalizing it in violation of federal law. And the feds have not done anything about it in the meantime or in the past. So this is going to be fascinating to watch, no question about it. And while I've been trying to give you some retirement time, I am going to have to bring you back on to talk about this because it's too important. I do want to talk with you, too, about, because you've got a great piece up at AmmoLand. Anti-gunners just obliterated the greatest gun control myth. Are they this stupid that they didn't even know what they were doing when they were reading what they were saying and writing?
Well, yeah.
Explain, if you would, to listeners.
That's the 25-cent answer.
Right.
They do this stuff, and then they turn right around and they wonder why people call BS on their entire agenda. It's because, if they didn't have a double standard, they'd have no standards at all.
I love that. I'm going to steal that and claim it for myself. I just told you on live radio. Because you're right. No, you're right about this. They posted an article. I referenced this on a previous show, but I think it bears mentioning again. Because, and I'm going to quote you, authored by Trace reporter and editor Olga Pierce, this remarkable report acknowledges, quote, the downward trend cuts across red and blue cities and states in every region of the country. Now, what the anti-gunners were trying to do here, ladies and gentlemen, is convince you that Murders are down because Trump is coming, the cities, gun ownership, et cetera. And they always try to claim, like Johnson does in Chicago, our murder rates are dropping. It's all nonsense. There's been over 10,000 murders in the last 25 years. I've covered tens of thousands of shootings in Chicago. Another 20 people were shot just last weekend in Chicago alone. It's ongoing. But that's the tack that they take, right? And in this case, it backfired on them because, and I'll quote here from there, this downward trend comes at a time when more Americans own more guns than probably any other time in recent history. 29 states have adopted constitutional carry laws, which do away with a licensing requirement that may increase to 30 states in mid-November when North Carolina, lawmakers hold a veto override vote on their Senate Bill 50. That state's permitless carry bill, okay? 21 million citizens are licensed to carry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like they just ruin their own argument. There are more guns and less crime if their numbers are accurate. Isn't that what they just told us without telling us?
Yeah, well, you see, there is one thing, too. Some people might think that I was being critical of Olga Pierce for writing that piece. I think she did a credit to everybody, and frankly, I'm not too sure the Trace was ready to see that. Good for Olga. Whatever else she did, she provided ammunition for the gun rights community to say, hey, wait a minute, you guys, you're smoking the wrong pot here, in reference to our earlier conversation. You guys have been really living in a fantasy world, and now all of that stuff, all of that rhetoric is coming back to bite them. And I was talking to Alan Gottlieb the other day about this. Frankly, they don't have a lot of wiggle room here.
Yeah, you're right.
They have really shot down their own main argument that more guns equal more crime. And thanks to Olga Pierce, and I've never met the woman, but thanks to her, they don't really have a lot of legs to stand on.
Now, they've painted themselves into let's call this a debate box here, quite literally, because they made our point for us, and I don't think they realized they were doing it. I don't know that Olga knew. I think if you look at the overall point, she was trying to stress how crime is coming down because that's been their deal, even though people don't feel that on the streets. But she did not realize, I don't think at the time, as she was writing some of these things, she would have been the old, what do we call it, the lie of omission, right? Well, just leave that part out. We don't need to tell them about that. Let's just tell them crime's coming down.
Well, let's just say that she was doing what a good reporter is supposed to do, just report the facts.
But when you've got a place like the Trace, it's like going back to mainstream media, ABC, NBC, so we can all CBS, CNN, MSDNC, CNN, LOL, even Fox, doesn't matter. When they don't tell you something or they lie about something and it's been called out and debunked, what else can you believe from them? So that's where you're at with the Trace, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a liberal that watches the Trace or reads it, good heavens, start asking yourself this question. What else are they misinforming me on? Because it's likely something. Well, Dave, real quick, we're at the end. I hate to do it.
Mark, we're at the bottom of the hour, and all. We're at the bottom, and it's time to go. But you're asking me to get the crying towel out. Well, my crying towel's in the laundry right now.
You can catch Dave Workman at Ammo Land, and I will tell you that when we come back. Dave Workman, we love you. I'm sure you made my mom happy today. Thank you for everything you do, and try not to work so hard. We'll be right back.
Oh, Claire, I'll let you know when she's on.
All right, thanks.
The following segment of Armed American Radio is proudly being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, welcome back to the show indeed, ladies and gentlemen. National Rifle Association presenting everything, and we need you to join this organization. There is a lot going on with the NRA right now, a lot going on with the NRA. I'll be in an online media meeting with them in the next couple of days. There's so much happening. This organization is moving in all of the right directions and maximizing your dollars for maximum impact. So that's critical. We need you to join, and it's real simple. We've made it real easy to do. It's nra.org/AAR, nra.org/AAR. And when you join, 1-year membership is only $35. That's $10 off. 3-year membership, $15 off. It's $85 for 3 years. $125 down from $150, $25 on the 5, and $500 off on a life membership from $1,500 to $1,000. And if you join for 1 to 3 years, we're going to send you a free range bag. Make up for it. There you go. And if you join for 5 years or rejoin, either way, for 5 years or a life membership, we're going to send you the 10x42 binoculars with the lens covers and the case. So take advantage of that and get in the pool with us. The water is warm. We need your help and your support. It is inexpensive to do. I don't care if you donate any more money. We'd like you to, but you don't have to. Just joining is enough. Help us get the organization back up to where it needs to be. Let's go to Danielle Buck with Patriot Mobil. Danielle, how are you? Fan favorite for a reason. We love you on the show. How's it going today?
It's going great. Glad to be on the show, Mark.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you here. I have to ask first off, before I go anywhere else with you, what is Patriot up to right now? Because you guys are everywhere supporting our right to bear arms, no matter where it is, whether it's at the state, whether it's a convention, whether it's whatever. Where are you guys at now? You been doing any traveling?
We have been. We were actually last week in Georgia with Danielle Defense and Double D Foundation at their big fundraiser, which is obviously, helping shooting sports and funding all of that, which was amazing.
Yep.
And then we were actually in Nashville with a group of guys who are many former military called Sentinel Foundation. They actually help fight human sex trafficking, but it's former military guys that were trained by the military that have these incredible skills. So we were actually we helped with the Aldeans, Jason and Brittany, do a fundraiser where $1.27 million was raised, which is just amazing to be part of for that organization. This weekend, we were also at MCON, which was a huge military conference out in Vegas, I believe. I didn't actually go to that one yet. It was in Vegas last weekend. And one of the Warrior Rising groups that we work with was the one who actually had us come there. And they actually had a bunch of veterans who have business ideas. And, after their service, they had a pitch competition where they got to pitch their business idea to come, leave the service and become an entrepreneur. And so we got to be part of that last weekend. And then this weekend, I was actually just in the office with our CEO, and he was about to hop on a plane to go to Branson for the NACL, which is Christian lawmakers, and many of whom are very pro-gun, and they're meeting from all across the country, gathering together to kind of work on legislation, strategy, what our other states have done. So he was really excited about those. The meetings start tomorrow and Saturday out in Branson with that group, NACL. So, yeah, we have been all over the place, and it's been very, very fun. We know there's a country to save, and so we want to be right in the middle of it.
We're going to talk about saving the country, too, with you. I want to go back to the Double D Foundation for just a minute. Did you personally make it there?
I did not.
Okay.
But actually, we had an entire, 4 of our executives got to go, and they said it was incredible.
It is. And guys, I want to use this opportunity to remind you to visit thedoubledfoundation.org, thedoubledfoundation.org. Marty and Cindy, of course, good friends of mine, good friends of the program, folks. That makes them good friends of yours as well, okay, because we're all in this together. Yeah, Danielle, I've emceed that event. This is the 5th year of that event, and for the first 4, I emceed it. And I know it well. And boy, I'll tell you, there's nothing like smelling the freedom when you walk in the front doors of Danielle Defense. Mm-hmm. You can smell it. You smell the rifle builds, and then you hit the range over there. And it is a phenomenal event. They do amazing work. And I don't know how much money they raised this year. I was busy this year, unfortunately. However, it's usually well over $1 million, and I'm really proud to have participated in that. So let me say thank you to Patriot Mobil for getting involved in that, because that is such a, most people don't realize the youth shooting sports. There are more participants in youth shooting sports across this country, Danielle, than any other kids' participative sports combined, yet the media never talks about it. You know? And here you are supporting all of these kids. It's so great to see what you do. Because as you know, these are the kids coming up behind us, right? These are the kids that might be working with me, working with you, replacing us at some point in time. So congratulations.
So, right?
Yeah, well, at some point, yeah. You know? But good heavens, so thanks for doing that. That's really a critical mission, and that's huge. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what Patriot Mobile is involved in. So let's talk about saving the country. Oh, good heavens. Where do you want to start, Danielle? I've got some talking points for you. Right? I mean, when you look at what you're seeing in New York, and I saw a poll today which shocked me. Now, Patriot Mobile is the largest Christian mobile organization in the world, right? Am I phrasing that correct?
Yeah, largest Christian conservative wireless provider. Yeah,
Okay.
Like I said, we have all three networks. We're not worldwide. We do have international calling, but yes, definitely the largest, obviously, in the country. And I think the only one that actually protects the Second Amendment.
You're not mistaken. It's the only one I'm aware of, and I've looked, and they're not out there. If they are,
that's what I thought too.
Yeah, they're escaping us, no question about it. But when I look at what's going on, I saw a poll earlier today from New York City that the majority of Americans believe that the city is literally going to fall apart under this new mayor if he's elected, which it looks like he's going to be. We're talking about Mamdani, the commie, and that anti-Semitism will rise, that verbal, maybe even physical attacks on Christians will rise, and the cops are scared to death. What gives?
Yeah.
Yet they're going to vote for him anyway.
Right, and it's the young people voting for him. And it's really just kind of mind-blowing that there are that many people that are so disillusioned. Quite frankly, I think it's by our higher education and the brainwashing that happens at these universities. And then them moving off to New York thinking they're going to live the dream, but then what they're concerned about is what their cost of living, so they're going to vote for him. And I mean, I was listening to some polls yesterday as well, and I'm not too far removed, but I am not a Gen Z. I'm a millennial. But when I think about, who are they listening to and reading, and where do they believe this stuff from? And I just have to, that's kind of what makes me think, the brainwashing obviously happened on the university level, but also, who are they listening to, and who is feeding this narrative in their brains, and that they cannot even look at how a business is run, how they run their personal checkbook, and looking outside of themselves and personal responsibility and seeing that it's the government's fault to fix this. It really, it's kind of, I am slightly scared, but also maybe what's going to happen is one parts of the country, like New York, goes this direction, and then the other parts go completely the opposite.
No, I agree.
Because we see the stark differential between how they actually operate.
I agree. You see it along a lot of different battlefronts, right? You see it along the right to bear arms. You see it along Christianity. You see it along just attacks on our system, capitalism, et cetera. It's everywhere, and but your question is a good one. I think you've answered it at least at the higher education level, no question about it. But I'm with you. The only answer that I would have is where are they seeing this stuff is mom and dad, MSDNC, CNN, LOL, ABC, NBC, so we can all CBS. It's where it's coming from. And, I would like to believe that high schools are not teaching the same indoctrinated stuff that our universities are, but I can't say that's the case. Outside my conservative area, I don't know what's going on in New York behind the blue wall, Danielle. I'll let you take us to the break to the music with that one. We got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, it really is, I think, so prevalent that we, as conservatives and as Christians, really enter into every space, like the media, the podcast world, higher education, high school, and bring in our Christian values and what founded our country. And so I am encouraging everyone to do what you can to get involved.
Remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that everything you do matters. We've got one more segment on Armed American Radio's Daily Defense today. Danielle Buck from Patriot Mobile will be back with us. We'll cover as much ground as we can. Always fun having her on the program with us. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.
All
Guys, back at you.
This segment is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back indeed. Final segment on Armed American Radio's Daily Defense on a Thursday for you here in the CZ studios. Of course, it's all being brought to you by the National Rifle Association and all of our great partners, which you can find, including Patriot Mobile, as I said before Danielle was on the program, at patriotmobile.com/AAR, but you can find them all, and you reach them all at armedamericanradio.com, including Attorneys on Retainer.us, ladies and gentlemen, one of our greatest sponsors ever. I want to make that point, one of our best ever, and we've got some great ones, including Patriot, the National Rifle Association, among many, many others, Bud's Gun Shop, and the rest. Attorneys on Retainer has a new, get this, the video came out just yesterday. I'll spend more time on this tomorrow, but I was asked for an opinion on this, and I absolutely loved it. Guess, you ever heard of, Danielle, welcome in. Have you ever heard of the Dream Team? Remember when OJ was on trial and he had the Dream Team, all the attorneys?
Totally.
Remember that?
This is the Dream Team? This is the modern one?
Well, what happens now is, this is new, and I think you'll find this interesting, guys. I know you will, but you see the stars, right? Everybody followed the Johnny Depp trial. These guys always have teams of powerful attorneys there. So most self-defense cases, ladies and gentlemen, generally don't go to court. Most don't. A lot do. And if they do, you now have a team of attorneys. You'll have your 3 AAR attorneys plus your attorney in your home state. So at $35 a month, ladies and gentlemen, for a dream team of attorneys. This is new. It was just announced. Guys, get on board. It's attorneysonretainer.us. Use the promo code AAR, just like you do at Patriot, just like you do at the NRA. And take advantage of that, please. Don't be foolish and be one of those people that wished you needed it when you had it and didn't, because you didn't yet, pun intended, pull the trigger. Visit all of our great partners, including budsgunshop.com. You can find them all online, including Patriot Mobile at armedamericanradio.com. Danielle, welcome back. You're absolutely right about the education aspect of this. And it's interesting, too, because you have the millennial, and as much as I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, but the millennial generation, your generation, is lost. You aren't, but many, and I know I'm right. Please tell me I'm right on that assessment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For what reason?
I would say the education system, lack of parenting, letting the government parent your children, not just educate. It's one thing to send your kid to public school. It's another thing to, let them educate how you view life, liberty, like our country, how it was founded. I mean, yes, you can supplement and teach your kids so much more outside of school hours as well. I think that is a big reason. I think the other reason is truly believing the talking heads on the media. They view them as like experts, and I, unfortunately, as a 22-year-old, actually went into the media and pretty naively thought that like these people were honest and true and just reported the facts, and within 2 years of being in it, realized, oh, this is not the case. These people don't have morals and convictions. They literally will say and do what someone else will pay them to say or do, or because of what they believe, or because of their political preferences. And so I think that for me, I mean, I had amazing parents that taught me a lot, as well as the education that I was given. But also I think just like life experience and realizing, this is not the right way that we are supposed to just believe what you're told, if you would.
My daughter,
that is very prevalent in my generation.
Yeah, it is. You're right, and it's really scary. And it's what is so encouraging to me. My daughter is your age, and we talk about Charlie Kirk and Turning Point, and Christianity being under attack. Turning Point is seeing just absolutely off the chart incredible growth after what happened to Charlie. And if my family is any indication, the Turning Point Freedom Fest in Phoenix coming up. In a couple of days, I'll be able to say next month in December, right before Christmas, is going to be absolutely enormous. Now, I sent my daughter and my niece to that 2 years ago in 2023. Now my son and my nephew, both over 21, are also going. We've doubled our attendance just here. And it's been wonderful to see this revitalizing of people's faith in light of what happened to Charlie. And at 22 years old, you are evidence that the generation as a whole, gosh, I hate to put it this way, can't say the whole generation is lost, but there are too many millennials, and there's a stark difference between the Gen Z and the boomers. And with everybody sandwiched in the middle, it seems to be the millennial generation that is the problem here. And that generation's moving up pretty quick and taking the reins of power.
They are, and I just have to come back to using Charlie's death and how the Lord is using that, and how people that maybe are not Christians, were not Christians, or maybe were just kind of asleep at the wheel, apathetic, have been woken up.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally was chatting with two young women earlier today about this, and they said, I didn't really know who Charlie was, and they are in my generation. And they're like, and I started watching his videos and seeing, I mean, what an intelligent, articulate young man who defended not just Christianity, but conservatism and the values of capitalism and why our country is who it is, a beacon of light to the entire world. When we think about that, I keep thinking, Lord, may the scales continue to fall off the eyes of people in my generation so they may be woken up to who you are and therefore how you call us to live differently. And then secondary comes politics, right? Because politics is not the answer. Politics never has been the answer. Our founding fathers knew that. And so I am encouraged so greatly by these young people. Oh my goodness, the 18 to 26-year-olds that I've met.
Yeah.
I've seen on the college campuses having revival at the TPUSA events. I mean, I spoke at YWLS in June and had countless women coming up to me, talking to me after I got off the stage. And yes, the AmFest last year was awesome. And this year's going to be double the size. They said they sold out at 25,000 attendees earlier this week, which is just going to be incredible. And so, yes, it's the young people, but I think it's everyone. I think it's everyone who's listening, whether you are young, you are middle-aged, and you are old. Like, God has something for you to do and someone for you to even talk to. Like, it might just be being a kind person, because sometimes people just need to know that someone cares about them, to then open up, to let them know what's going on in their world, to then start that relationship and that conversation that then builds into them realizing, like, oh, I'm not in this isolated bubble by myself in my television, and that is, and my cat, right? I mean, truly, like, I think there are a lot of people that live so isolated, and if we can get back to living in community and relationships, more people will be changed.
Oh, man, from your lips to God's ears. Honestly, I hope so. When I look at phones and the technology and all the great things it can do, I look at the negativity. I look at the bad, and we mentioned this before, and I forget who said it originally, but you got to get out and touch the grass, man. You just do. And, form those human relationships. And you're right, by the way, that TPUSA, I couldn't get my kids a room anywhere near Phoenix. And I know a lot of people in Phoenix that can help me out. Had to send them about 20 minutes out over to Scottsdale, as close as we could get, because everything was sold out. And we're talking months ago. So will you be there in December as well?
We will, yes.
Oh, I will probably see you there.
I will be there. I'll be on Meter Row for some of the interviews. And,
good.
We are so excited. It's going to be an amazing thing to partner with, and Patriot Mobile loves it.
Tell people real quick the web address for Patriot Mobile real fast.
PatriotMobile.com, or call 972-PATRIOT. We would love to have your business.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Patriot Mobile, when you hear him on the program, Danielle's awesome. We love her for a reason. Great stuff. PatriotMobile.com, ladies and gentlemen. Not only do they support Armed American Radio, your right to bear arms, but all of your values. Danielle Buck, thank you so much for being here. Fan favorite for a reason, and new listeners just found out why. Guys, we're going to get up and do it again tomorrow because they don't want us to. Until then, enjoy your day. We'll see you on the radio on Friday.
All clear.
Roger that. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in today. We appreciate it very much. Please make sure to subscribe to the Armed American Radio podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Join the many, many, many thousands of people who do that. Help us take our social media back. If you're watching us on Twitter, follow us. Give us a follow. You'll like what comes out from our AAR Twitter feed. And make sure to check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Armed American Radio. Follow us there. Getting close to 100,000. We're at 80. Need your help to do that. Make sure to join the NRA, nra.org/AAR. Take advantage of all the great discounts and the free stuff we're giving you. BudsGunshop.com has everything that you need. Heaven's Harvest has everything you need. I got a whole crossbreed package coming here from UPS in about 15 minutes. Can't wait to get it. And I know that because I can see the little truck on my little delivery map. He'll be here soon. We got a whole package of fun stuff coming from them for my son for his birthday, turning 21 and carrying in crossbreed gear like nobody's business. And also have a new car ported, X9 ported on its way too. So, and we got the car hat on today. So when that gets in, I'll let you know. In the meantime, carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere. Never, ever, ever leave your cave without your club. No self-respecting caveman would have ever done that. I'll get it out. Enjoy your day. Stay safe, guys. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow, 4 to 5 Eastern, 1 to 2 Pacific.